Why do people
But
like conspiracies?
Do you remember that 9/11 like movie that went around on the internet? It was it was like a zeitgeist thing.
Okay.
I think it was called
No.
Truth. I forget what it's called, but it was like some guy made it. It was like really long, and it was like it went viral. It was like early viral, and it was like it made it scientific. Like it broke down the conspiracy of like how like the Pentagon, like it had to have been a missile, like the shape of the hole in the Pentagon, you know. And that I remember it went like wildfire across school, across, you know, lots of people were watching it.
Right.
I think at the time I was like, this is very compelling as a like sophomore in high school.
Right.
I'm like, this.
Yeah.
Watch this.
But again, like
watch this, Dad. You know,
to your point, why as a sophomore with such limited information about the world?
Yeah.
Like, were you like holding on to that?
Well, so yeah, why are we drawn to conspiracy?
Yeah.
Because I think fundamentally everyone knows that there's more out there that we don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's, you know, multiple reasons. Like, first of all, like for 9/11, my advice to the government would be just release all the papers. Just release all the confidential stuff. You can black out names or whatever, but like it's stuff like that, like the whole Kennedy thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of mystery around parts of that, and I'm not, you know, I wasn't there in all those meetings and whatnot. But part of the problem with, you know, they just declassified a lot of documents,
right?
Finally, but it was fueling the real wacky conspiracies when they weren't just releasing them.
Right.
It's like they have their reasons like this and that, but like they're fueling like this big group that's like convinced the CIA did it.
That they would like dampen that by just like releasing stuff and being kind of open and transparent.
Yeah, because as far as I understand, the documents that have been released are not bombshell documents.
Exactly.
It's like, you know, there's this reason or that reason why they wanted to keep them classified. But the reality is like some people were expecting like, this is going to be the smoking gun that proves that Lyndon B. Johnson ordered the hit on Kennedy.
Right.
But
and
like
with the mafia.
Right. But like, it's almost too late. They should have released it a long time ago to like, just nip that.
Right.
Kind of stuff.
But yeah. And I guess,
and I'm not even like fully against it.
Once the conspiracy takes hold, I think, just understanding human behavior, like people, it's almost like religion where it's like, you just take on this faith and then that faith sort of becomes your identity. Is like, oh, I'm someone who believes in this conspiracy.
Sure.
And so you just start, it's the confirmation bias storm. You just like, once you've committed to this like potential thing of happening, all the puzzle pieces fit in and make sense for that to be the case.
Yeah.
When it's often not.
Right.
It's often not.
I mean, I think
there are real conspiracies.
There are real conspiracies, and that's important to know.
Yeah.